All right, so first up, The Mechanic. We both saw, you saw The Mechanic.
I did.
Yes.
This new format, our lovely producer, Elric, that's like a little bit of Rick and a little bit of Eric, he has decided that we should both see the same movies, which is a very smart idea, but it means that both of us have to suffer. So we can
yell at each other more.
We have to yell at each other. So yes, I did go see The Mechanic.
It is a very surprisingly faithful remake of a 1972 Charles Bronson thriller. Jason Statham plays a hitman who takes on an old friend's son as an apprentice. However, the shadowy, duplicitous organization for whom Statham works is sort of working against them, and they'll have to team up in order to survive. Let's take a look at a clip from the trailer.
Sorry about your father.
It was a loss for both of us.
I want to know what you know. Go online. It's all on the internet. But I don't want to read it. I want to do it. Follow me. You know what a mechanic is?
A hitman.
Time to take your training to the next level. So what's the plan now? Time to finish the job.
So like I said, this film is very faithful to the 72 Charles Bronson one, almost to a fault, because that's not a bad movie, but there are some holes in that movie that they could have plugged for this version that they sort of didn't bother to. The main one being that neither of the two movies seems to really have a good explanation for why characters do what they do. There's a couple times where characters kind of make decisions that seem to go against their better interests, and it's not really clear on screen, just like they're rebellious or they're drunk, and then they just kind of get into these situations. And I feel like if you were going to remake it, you would plug that hole, you would fix that and make it more of a through line.
When you sat down, were you thinking of me? I want to know, when you first sat down to see, were you thinking when the movie started, oh, I can't believe that Farrell's going to have to watch this movie, and worried about me and my feelings?
No, I was not at all. Because this movie, it's not gory.
When I sat down for Prada Donata, my first thought was, oh, poor Lonzy, he's going to have to sit through this. I actually felt for you because I care about you, because you are the frosting to my cupcake.
I appreciate that.
However, you clearly don't give a crap about me because you're
movie,
like,
well, okay. Two things.
I kind of thought it was fun. It's like a Twinkie. No nutritional value whatsoever, but when I was in it, it's kind of a rush. It's fine, but it's like, why did this need to get made? However, one line was worth it. When he says, the price on your head is so high that when you look in the mirror, your own reflection is going to want to shoot you in the face. That made me laugh.
There's a couple good little dialogue nuggets in there. I do feel there's a few improvements on the original that they make here. Ben Foster, a better choice for this character than Jan Michael Vincent in the original. Jan Michael Vincent, you don't buy him as a tough guy. You don't buy the transition into like steely hitman. And Ben Foster, I bought, even though it's very quickly done.
How creepy is Ben Foster?
Right.
He's so creepy.
You buy that he could become a sociopathic killer with a little training.
I think he may in fact be one.
And the other thing is the action in this new one is on a grander scale, and it's pretty well done. Simon West directed this, who did a lot of sort of
Didn't he do
crappy...
Con Air?
He did Con Air, General's Daughter.
You just said Con Air.
Sorry. When a Stranger Calls a few years ago with Camilla Bell.
That was with Camilla Bell?
The star of our next film.
In.
And he's like pretty sort of sub-Michael Bay kind of crappy action director, but he really reins it in this time. There's not a lot of that jittery, you can't see what's happening.
I would actually say only one scene. That one scene where Ben Foster goes after his first target. It's like the Bourne Identity kind of action sequence. I know those were stunt doubles, but that was the most violent, bloody, shocking, terrifying scene, and it looked so real.
It's visceral,
and it was, But then I was like, wow, it really shook me up, but there was nothing else that actually matched that, I felt like, for the rest of the movie.
There was a few sequences that work, but it's just, so many modern action movies do that, like, shaky, jittery, you can't see what's happening, everything's flying at you really fast cam, and he actually managed to rein it in, and, like, the physics of the action scenes I thought were pretty good, and it was exciting. There are some very silly touches, though. I don't know if you noticed. One thing before we move on, I have to mention.
What?
There's, part of the gimmick in both the 72 film and this one is that he puts up tons of pictures when he's preparing a kill to, like, plan everything. And so this one, he's looking at a picture, and there's a moment where he's going to jump off a bridge and then, like, grab onto the back of a boat. And he's looking at a picture, and he's put a helpful diagram of an arrow pointing off, like, jump off bridge, and then an arrow behind the boat, like, touch boat, and the arrow's going that way. And it's like, would he really need to like put the arrows there? That's obviously like, hey, audience, he's super prepared.
He might need the directions. He's a hitman. He's not a professor. He may not be the smartest.
So
the smartest,
I'll run here, and then I'll jump off the bridge.
I should remember to grab on.
Thank God I put that arrow there, so I would remember that that's what I'm supposed to do.
I felt like this movie was The Transporter combined with Grosse Pointe Blank, and
fair enough,
and not a bad idea.
Not
just
funny.
How bummed were you at the end? I thought they set that up for such a more interesting ending. I thought, oh, that's going to be surprising. And yes, like, it could have gone one way, and then they just did a Hollywood end, which was really annoying.
They changed the ending.
Did
the ending's
they?
the only thing
You
that's
mean
different. The ending's the only thing they changed.
Did everybody die in the old one?
Yes.
Better. Way better.
But anyway, I don't want to spoil it too much. But it's handled better. The 72 ending has more impact. This one, it feels like they kind of fudged it to make it happier.
Lonzy, you're in fantastic shape, but I will say that Jason Statham's biceps, holy glorious magical biceps. That scene where he's in the gray t-shirt, do you know which scene I'm talking about? I mean, God, they are jacked up insane.
He's a well-built guy.
That was a moment.
He's working out.
Here's your quiz for the night. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago I told you who Jason Statham was dating in real life, and she's an actress / model. Do you remember who that person is?
I don't.
Are you serious? Why do
I
I tell you these things if you can't retain them?
I've written it down, but it's in my
She's
it's in my files.
the new Transformers movie.
Oh, it's that Rosie Huntington, Whitley, Dumaurier,
yes.
the fourth. Yeah.
Yes, these are the important things that you need to remember week to week.
Okay, so I vaguely remember.
Just try to make me happy.
You've been watching This Week in Movies. To watch the full episode, click here. To check out some other shows from This Week In, click here.